Hello everyone, welcome to my guide series Torchlight Academy, Part 1, Slates. So for those who don't know me, my name is BM Legolas and I am right now rank 1 on Ordrak in the EU server and on the Supreme Showdown rank 2 as Erika 1. So let's hop into it. What I noticed in my streams is that many people are neglecting their slates. I think that many people are not aware that slates are really big impact on your build and it's massively increasing your damage. Let me show you.
Please select the calibration intensity for
For example, right
invincibility
now
number
you can
2.
see my damage is around 5 trillion ish. Let's say, yeah, 4.85, right? Yeah. So it's around 4.6, 4.8. Let me remove one slate and you will see the difference.
Please select the calibration intensity for invincibility number
My
3.
damage went down to now 2.4, 2.5, maybe even lower if you wait a couple seconds, because the burst at the beginning is always much. Yeah, so you see this right now, 2.3, 2.4. So basically, that one slate just doubled my damage, and it's just huge, guys. You should always focus on your slates. That, like, slates are everything on your build. Trust me. So, how to get good slates, right? So there are a couple of ways to do this. First of all, like this slate setup is my favorite, cost and efficiency wise, because you only have to buy 2 fallen starlights, and that's it. The ablaze is also one of the most important things in this build, because it copies the medium nodes on the very bottom, which means if you have anything here at the very bottom, it just duplicates it for every slate around it. What you also can do is, let's imagine these 2 slots were legendary also, but they are empty. So as soon as you get 15 decks, for example, on the first one, you could leave your slate open with the first 3 and don't put in anything in the other 2, and this will still copy the one on the first node. So keep that in mind. What I suggest is to have at least 3 of the slates with 2 legendary nodes. These ones are most of the time really cheap and easy to get, because 3 legendary nodes is a lot more expensive, sometimes 8-10 times more, and I will explain now why. So if you're going to craft a slate, you have only one chance of getting something here. So after you upgrade this, you cannot overwrite it, you cannot change it. There's only one way to do it, which is restore. For restoring, you need a unifying wedge, which costs you around 30 to 40 FE right now, and you have to use one. The second one also costs you 1, and everything after that just multiplies. So then it's 2, then it's 4, and I think after 4 it's 8, and then it's 10, and then it's 20, something like that. So what we want to do is, you want to buy a slate with 2 slots, because it's really cost efficient, and you just want to upgrade this maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times. I would say 3, so you can use 1, 1, and then another 2, right, to restore this. Why? Because this slate costs you around, let's say, 50 to 100 FE, and if you need to buy, let's say, 8 of these wedges, the cost is more than the slate's cost. So you actually want to instead just buy another slate and start from the beginning. So how does this work? How do you get these medium nodes? You have to go into the FX list and click on the legendary medium talent nodes. You can also look up at the right top which of your slate types it is, and then choose accordingly. So if you now look at the Goddess of Hunting, you can see which possibilities you have to get on your slates. It's totally random, so you will get one of these I think it was 32, but I'm not sure, like, don't get me on this. So let's say 32. You have 1 in a 32 chance to get anything here. So if you want dexterity, you have 1 in a 32% chance to get dexterity on your node when you upgrade this to legendary. But keep in mind that the nodes on the top cannot be on the bottom again, so you will not get these two. There is also another way to do this. So if you look at the medium nodes and the talent panel, you can see that there is a specified talent names. For example, Goddess of Hunting, Marksman, Blade Runner, Druid, right? So how this works is you can also buy pacts to increase your chances. Let me show you. For example, this slate, if I put in the wedge, and then you can add on the right side a divinity pact on whichever you want. You can only add the Goddess of Hunting talents though, so you cannot add some spell things on this. So you have to look in the ethics list, you are the Goddess of Hunting, and here you have 4 options. So if you want, for example, 15 decks on your slate, you have better chances if you run Blade Runner. Because with the pact, you only get something from this list. Now, if we go into the details, now we count how many are there even. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 options. So now you now have 1 in a 13 chance to hit dexterity if you use a Blade Runner pact. You can further increase your chances by having 2 of these medium talents on your upper side of the slate. What I mean is, let's say for example, lightning penetration and attack speed. If you buy a slate with these 2 on the top side, you basically reduce the FX lists from 13 to 11. So now you have a 1 in 11 chance to hit dexterity. Keep that in mind. It's not always the best thing to do, even if you're trying to get dexterity, for example, because sometimes there are like things like which have the max divinity effect 1. So you also want to maybe stack 1 of these each on your build. So it's not really necessary to only go for that one pact that you really need, on the top side at least. So by doing this, like I said, you are increasing your chances to get what you want. In the end, it's still a big RNG and you can waste tons of FE to trying to get what you want. What I suggest is to go for a 2 nodes so you can try a lot of times. As soon as you hit something useful, which has 2 useful nodes, and something on the bottom, which you can multiply with this place, you are fine. That should be your goal in the first place. If you have 2 slates like this, where it's useful, everything, you can reach 15 trillion in no time. Like, your slates are not going to hold you off. This is really important. And then you have 1 on the bottom, which doesn't copy anything. So on this one, for example, you can have something which doesn't make sense to copy. For example, critical strikes can eliminate enemies under 10% life. So if you double this, it doesn't change anything. So that's why I have this 1 open slot on the bottom, where if you have any good slates, but the very bottom roll is not copyable, for example, like slates with max divinity effect 1, some effects like this cannot be copied, they are useless. So you can, if you get this on the bottom side, you can maybe move this to the bottom and then try to go for a next slate to get something useful which you can copy. So there are also a couple of ways to do slates. This is just my example of slates, and I think this is the best cost efficient one because you're only going for 2 starlights. And there are also another version of it. It's really expensive though. Let me just show you someone. Like, you can also have a slate build like this, where you have 3 starlights, 3 corners, and you need sparks of molten fire. So this is also really expensive, right? 2k, and these slates cost 8 to 15,000 each. This one also, like, this is so expensive, and you actually don't need so much. It's overkill. I reached 15 trillion with my setup with decent slates, but you don't need to spend 100,000 on your slates. Even if the top players are doing this, you don't have to. Just keep that in mind. You are fine if you have a slate with just like this. For example, I even have only 3 useful stats on this, and only a single one on the starlight, and this still works. So keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below, or you can join my Twitch stream. I'm almost every day live. If you have questions, just come by and say hello. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next guide.